Hey guys, Kenny here. I'm here to review the 1988 movie Beetlejuice, starring Alec Baldwin, Gina Davis, Jeffrey Jones, Catherine O'Hara, Winona Ryder, and Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice. This is one of my all-time favorite comedies ever. This is the 20th anniversary. This is almost really a bare bones, so I think I wasted my money with this. But I love the movie itself. Oh, comedy, horror, fantasy movie, and it has to do with Gina Davis and Alec. Gina Davis plays Barbara, and Alec Baldwin plays Adam. And one day they're driving and they drive off this some covered bridge, and they plunge into the water and they die. And it becomes apparent that the house that they were staying in New England, they're stuck in that house. They can't go out of the house, because if they do, they walk out into this kind of a horrific looking animated world where it could be quite dangerous for them. So they end up having to stay in there, and there's this small family that moves in. Charles, played by Jeffrey Jones, Delia, played by Catherine O'Hara, and their daughter Lydia, played by Winona Ryder, and they're under the guidance of an interior design played by an interior designer Otho, played by Glenn Shadix. And they move in and start changing up the house, and Barbara doesn't like it, and even Adam doesn't, and so they both try to do everything they can to try and scare all those people out of their house. But the more they try to do that, the more those people stay in the house, and the daughter Lydia ends up being the only one that can see the ghosts, Barbara and Adam. And Barbara and Adam end up getting help by this afterlife caseworker, Juno, played by Sylvia, Sidney, and I think she tells them that they need to step up their game and be even more scary than silly. And they bring up Beetlejuice, but she tells them to stay away from him. You don't want him to help you. But they, after all their peddling attempts at trying to scare them out of all of Barbara and Adam's peddling attempts at trying to scare out those people, they do end up calling on Beetlejuice for help, and he's this freelance bioexorcist ghost, and he ends up being pretty useful for them to scare away the Dietzes. That's who that family is. But he ends up being a little too mean, and I think he tries to kill the Dietz family, but all Barbara and Adam want to do is get them out of their house. So Beetlejuice ends up kind of being sent back to this little made up town that Adam built while he was alive, mock up of a town, So Beetlejuice stays there for a while, and I think Lydia talks with him, and then she ends up getting Beetlejuice back, and he ends up becoming a greater help to Barbara and Adam. And Beetlejuice has a great way of changing himself into different forms, like a snake. He can change himself into being one of those hammer things that you see at amusement parks, where there's all those rides at. What else? There's a Beetlejuice tells him, Barbara and Adam, that they're able to do, since they're ghosts, they have the ability to do mind control. So there's this great scene where Barbara and Adam take control of the minds of the Dietzes while they're eating dinner, and then they start singing some weird song. Banana Boat song is what it is. Oh, they started singing it, dancing and singing. And at the end of the dancing and singing, they all sit back down, and the food that they're eating is like little lobsters. It pops out to be this big lobster hand, grabs their faces and pulls their heads down into the dish. And Beetlejuice ends up wanting to try and marry Lydia, but so Barbara and Adam do their damn best to try and stop that. They do their best to try and stop it, but Beetlejuice keeps firing off these obstacles for them, like putting a metal plate over Barbara's mouth and making Barbara and Adam these decaying corpses. So instead of getting the Dietzes out of the house, Barbara, Adam, and Lydia, I think, end up just getting rid of Beetlejuice altogether. So Barbara and Adam end up doing fine with the Dietzes there. So they all end up living happy with each other. So this is a movie that I highly recommend to anyone who loves comedy. If you haven't already, I would highly appreciate it if you would subscribe over here if you're watching the video by itself, or subscribe down here if you're watching the video on my channel. Bye.